Hello, everybody out there in SAP world. Benjamin Dare here, sales engineer at Rondos, here with another use case example of a reason why you should implement PowerConnect to monitor your SAP landscape. One of the things that any company that runs SAP is familiar with are SAP background jobs. There are a plethora of reasons to run background jobs. These are things that are repetitive tasks that you can schedule. They run in the background so that they're consuming a different group of resources than dialogue resources, which are users logged into the system actively typing on the keyboard. And so there are, like I mentioned, a lot of different jobs. Basis has their own set of jobs that they do. There are a lot of like table reorg, cleanup jobs, those kind of things, housekeeping jobs. But then there's also a lot of functional jobs. And basis administrators work very closely with the functional users to do things like set thresholds for background jobs so that functional groups can be alerted if there are failures. They also need to know things like if a job fails, well, when was the last successful completed job? Because a lot of times, there will be a job that will pick up a file from somewhere, and as long as a file gets delivered in so many hours, it's fine. So there are a lot of times where there are an accepted amount of failures before a job completes, which using out-of-the-box standard SAP tooling is very difficult to create alerts for. We really don't have a mechanism using CCMS or Solution Manager, Cloud ALM to be able to create that kind of flexibility in alerting. So what does that look like, right? This is SM37. This is where we come to monitor SAP background jobs. So, a lot of times we can click on a specific, type in a job prefix name, perhaps, if we know which group they are and the company has actually decided to name their background jobs with a naming convention like that. But we get a list like this, and it's our job to go through this list, look at these jobs, click into them to get some kind of a resemblance of a job log. This one just happened to fail because SAPstar tried to log into client 0 and that failed. Probably SAPstar is locked in 000, and so that user login failed. But it's very difficult to both go through these logs to look for anything meaningful. And then also the alerting can be very difficult. So this is one of the use cases I'm most proud of representing here at Rondos with PowerConnect, and that is our out-of-the-box dashboard for covering background jobs. So the first panel you see at the top just gives you a high level, right? How many jobs do I have that are running in my system, and what percentage of those are completing, and which ones are canceling with a status other than completed successfully. Very useful for again, looking for anomalies, right? Trying to find if we have a specific time zone when jobs are failing. Maybe there's a failed connection somewhere. Perhaps somebody who's doing maintenance and there's an app server that's down. So all really useful information. We can look at users that have failed background jobs, which is important. A lot of times, places I've worked, people get terminated. They've created a bunch of background jobs that run in the background. Those just continue to fail on a daily basis. So for no other reason than trying to keep a clean system, it's good to go in there, find out what background jobs those users have, and clean those out. And then we have here app server stats. So, this is a demo system. We only have a single app server, but if you're using load balancing or logon groups and you're trying to keep background jobs to specific servers, you can put all of that in here and be able to get an idea how well your load balancing is working. And then here, as you can see, we've got, all kinds of stats on jobs, how many are delayed. I mean, that's a huge one, right? Being able to tell, do I even have enough background processes? Are my jobs being delayed because there isn't a batch process available for a job to even start? So we can also look at, things like sizing just from this very simple dashboard. And one of the greatest benefits that I think that we provide using PowerConnect to monitor background jobs is our alerting capabilities. So here you can see some of the jobs that have run over the last day or so. But, we talked about the static thresholds that you use with SAP and how PowerConnect can allow you to use dynamic thresholds so that you're not getting false alerts and noise that prevents people from actually looking into issues when they exist. So I've clicked here on the CCMS monitoring batch job. It's a standard SAP job that is taking care of monitoring statistics for the basis guys. And what you can see here are the runtime anomalies for this job. So through machine learning, Splunk has learned what the average runtimes are for this job during certain periods of the day, and drawn this cloud around it for the expected runtimes based on system load, other jobs that are running, whatever it may be. And so now I can just have the system alert via Splunk anytime a job runs outside of the expected window uh, that's been published here via machine learning. Pretty amazing stuff. That means we're not doing, one-on-one meetings with the functional guys for every single job that they have, trying to figure out what static threshold to set for those. And by the way, what do we do during something like month-end close where these jobs are expected to run longer? This automatically takes care of all of that for us. If you don't trust the machine learning, guess what? We have another way that you can look at jobs. Just by sorting on something like median runtime, we now know what the expected execution time of these jobs are. And rather than setting static thresholds, we can look at standard deviations from the mean. So, how many standard deviations from the median do you want to occur before you trigger an alert? Pretty cool stuff. So even if we have machine learning in the system, these jobs start to run longer due to increased data volume, whatever it may be. The thresholds for the runtime of these jobs will move along with it. It's really cool. I hope that you find this valuable. Be sure to subscribe, smash that like button, and let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns.